Hi everyone and welcome to NCHC Between the Boards. I'm Greg Ankers. Coming up on tonight's show, we've got a plethora of highlights to get to from all the NCHC quarterfinals series. We'll break it all down momentarily. Later in the program, we'll play Get to Know Austyn Young, the senior forward from Minnesota Duluth, hoping his class can go out in style this year. And we'll also preview the NCHC Frozen Faceoff set to take place this weekend at Target Center in Minneapolis. We'll get to all of that, but first we start with the NCHC quarterfinals, and we begin at a destination we just were at a week ago. Omaha, Denver, the two squads meeting once again at Magnus Arena, this time though with so much more on the line. Denver continuing to stay red hot with just one loss in their last 17 games. The Omaha downturn, meanwhile, has the Mavericks needing wins to get back in the NCAA tournament picture. After a scoreless first period, Denver comes out on fire in the second. 48 seconds into the frame, long feed ahead to Trevor Moore, and he beats Evan Wenninger for a 1-0 Denver lead. Just a couple minutes after that, though, Denver back on the attack on a power play. Initial shot there comes out to Blake Hillman, and he sends one on net, tipped out in front by Troy Terry, and just like that, it's 2-0 Pioneers. But Denver was not done. Just seconds after that, Denver again back on the attacking mode, and this one's going to go to Colin Staub to make it 3-0 Denver early in the second. Omaha would not go down without a fight, though, working on a power play later in the period, and Luke Snuggerud with the feed setting up Jake Gensel here for the one-timer on the near side. Tanner Gillette never saw it coming, so that makes it a 3-1 game. Then late in the second period, Omaha back on the attack. Jake Gensel to Brian Cooper with some nice moves, goes backhand for the goal to make it a 3-2 game after 2 in the third. Denver skating shorthanded. That does not stop a breakout opportunity for Danton Heinen. He's got a teammate but doesn't need him. Goes top shelf for the goal to make it 4-2. Tack on an empty netter, and Denver takes the series opener 5-2. Shots though favoring Omaha 31-20, and they played well, says Jim Montgomery.
That's not the puck possession team that we've become to know here in the second half, and I hope with a good night of rest and good food and a lot of hydration, we'll be able to be a lot better tomorrow night, because we're going to need to be, because UNO is going to gain a lot of confidence after that game.
Omaha and Evan Wenninger thirsty to get back in this series on Saturday night, but it would once again be Denver striking in the first period this time around. Already up 1-0. Some nifty moves by Nolan Zajac to Troy Terry as Denver takes a 2-0 lead after 1. In the second, though, Omaha's special teams, very special. Here, Jake Gensel with the one-timer up top from Austin Ortega. That makes it a 2-1 game. Then later, Omaha skating short-handed, but back the other way. And this one, Ortega going to cash in on the rebound to make it a 2-all game after 2. We've got a dance, my friends. In the third period, though, a minute and a half in, Denver back on the attacking end, and Evan Jansen with the feed ahead to Danton Heinen, and he buries that one every single time he gets the chance. That makes it a 3-2 Pioneers lead. Moments after that, though, Omaha working on a power play. Special teams comes calling again. Jake Gensel to Ortega for the game-tying goal. This one goes 3-3, goes to not one, but into 2 overtimes, and Denver finally, Colin Staub, it's on his stick, slides a changeup past Wenninger. Doesn't matter, it's a game winner, sending Denver to Minneapolis with the 4-3 victory in double overtime. What a game, what a series.
In that dressing room, the belief, I mean, you know, they shortened their bench. They're probably playing 10 forwards, 5D. We're playing 6D and 4 lines, and it's a credit to our depth and how everyone relishes their role. And, you know, our big line didn't score tonight. The other guys got it done.
We're going to step aside, but when we return, we keep the rematch theme rolling along as Miami and Minnesota Duluth once again meet on the banks of Lake Superior. Welcome back. It's another rematch from the last weekend of the regular season as 5th-seeded Miami travels back to take on number 4 Minnesota Duluth. The Bulldogs getting the better of the Redhawks last weekend at Amsoil Arena, outscoring them 8-1. But with so much more on the line this time around, both teams needing W's to keep their NCAA tournament hopes alive. And what an opening act these two teams would put on display on Friday night. 1-0 Duluth in the first, but Miami in a scramble drill. 3 Red Hawks down low. Finally, Zach Laval buries it to tie things up at 1 apiece after the first. In the second, Miami gets the lead. Ryan Soroki off the turnover by the Bulldogs fires this one past Casimir Kaskasuo, and it's a 2-1 Miami lead. But Minnesota Duluth gets the special teams going later in the period. Look at Andy Walensky on the power play, just charging up right past the blue line, shoots and scores to tie things back up at 2 apiece. Miami, though, answers back just 18 seconds later. Look at the teamwork here. Alex Gasek and Anthony Lewis. Gasek goes back to Lewis, who goes backhand for the goal to make it a 3-2 Miami advantage. Later in the period, Miami back on a power play now, and Louis Belpedio from way up top, going to fire this one home on the one-timer, gets by everybody, and it's 4-2 Miami with a commanding lead going into the third. But the Bulldogs start to bite back as a power play is set to expire here. Willie Corrin to Adam Johnson for the goal. Adam Johnson taking it all the way in himself to make it a 4-3 game. Then midway through the period, working on a power play, and Neil Pionk can set this one up from his blue line spot, fires one and scores to tie everything up at 4 goals apiece. Just a minute and change after that, UMD back in the attacking zone, and Carson Soucy, there it is, your game-winning goal as Duluth comes back from a 4-2 deficit to win 5-4 in a game that has played out much like their season.
We had so much adversity throughout this year, and I think that gave us a little strength. Didn't see any doubt with our guys tonight, and that's obviously a good feeling. We could have just as easily gotten into that third period and played flat, but we got our energy back that we were lacking a little bit in the second, but we obviously got that back and played a great third period, so that was a good way to finish the game.
It was just a great team effort. We didn't have the start we wanted, but it shows a lot of character for our team, the comeback we had, and we hope to keep that third period going for tomorrow, and we should be all right.
Following the 9-goal outburst on Friday, Saturday night saw things get tightened up defensively, so you'd have to bury your chances. Here's one, a minute and a half in, skating shorthanded. Kyle Osterberg on their first shot of the game shoots and scores for a 1-0 Duluth lead. Later in the period, Minnesota Duluth on a power play, and Andy Walensky going to step up and fire one home for a 2-0 Duluth lead. That lead would carry on into the second. Minnesota Duluth skating a man down, but the puck comes out of the zone to Tony Cameronisi, and he capitalizes for a crucial 3-0 lead for Duluth after the second period. In the third, Miami trying to come back late in the game. Jack Roslovic beating Kevin Morris for the goal, but it's too little too late. Shots were just 19-16 in favor of Duluth as they go on to win 3-1, punching their first ever ticket to the Frozen Faceoff.
I'm really happy for our guys. I thought obviously tonight reminded me a lot of last Saturday against them, where there wasn't a lot of room. Neither team had a ton of shots, but our special teams came through big time, and to get a couple shorthanders at a power play, and our killers did a great job, certainly in the third period and throughout the weekend.
We haven't been there, so it's going to be a new experience, and for a lot of us being from the cities, it's something that you want to play in front of your parents and all that. So we're excited, and we'll get back to work next week.
Up next, we stay in the state of Minnesota as St. Cloud State plays host to Western Michigan, hoping to avoid the upset against the Broncos. That's next as you watch NCHC Between the Boards. Welcome back. On paper, it looked like St. Cloud State held all the cards against Western Michigan heading into their series this last weekend. The Huskies have outscored the Broncos 31-8 in their 4 meetings, with all the W's going St. Cloud State's way. But as the postseason opens, all teams start from scratch, and Andy Murray had his team ready to make some noise at the Herb Brooks National Hockey Center. It would, however, be St. Cloud State getting the first bite in this one on Friday night. Late in the first period, working on a power play. Shot from the point comes off the end wall, and from behind the net, Jimmy Murray somehow banks that one home for a 1-0 Huskies lead after 1. In the second, though, back comes Western Michigan. Frederick Tiffels going to sneak into the circle on this one and shoots and fires one home for a 1-1 game early in the second. Later in the period, Western Michigan grabbing a lead with the extra attacker on, delayed penalty coming, big wind and fire from Neil Goff out top, and the Broncos take a 2-1 lead. St. Cloud State, though, a couple minutes after that, Joey Bennick streaking in as Will Borgen. Bennick finds him, and St. Cloud State ties things up at 2 goals apiece after 2. In the third, St. Cloud State looking for the lead. Jimmy Murray going to set up Kali Kosala very nicely right there. The slide pass to the slot, and St. Cloud State retakes the lead at 3-2. But later in the period, Western Michigan answering the call. Kyle Novak feeding Colt Conrad, who beats Charlie Lindgren to tie things up at 3. This one goes to overtime. And with 3 and change left in the first overtime, look at the individual effort by Patrick Newell right out on front of the crease. His second effort, tapping it in midair. That's the game winner as St. Cloud State avoids the upset, at least on Friday night, winning it 4-3 in overtime to take a 1-0 series lead. That sets up Saturday night. Western Michigan still fighting for their season. Colt Conrad streaking in for Western Michigan here. The nice feed. It goes Kyle Novak to Griffin Molino to Conrad for the goal to make it a 1-0 Western lead. Second period, though, St. Cloud State gets the answer they're looking for. Puck loose out front, and it's Robbie Jackson putting in one past everybody to tie things up at a goal apiece, and that would open the floodgates for the Huskies. Just 22 seconds after that, Jimmy Schultz firing one from just inside the blue line. That makes it a 2-1 St. Cloud State lead, and they could feel the momentum churning on their side. Less than 2 minutes later, David Morley going to cash in on the scramble out in front, and just like that, it's a 3-1 St. Cloud State lead. Late in the third, Western trying to get back in it, skating short-handed, but putting on the pressure, and Chris Dines open on the backside, makes it a 3-2 game. St. Cloud State, though, adds an empty netter as they go on to win 4-2, and St. Cloud State is going back to Minneapolis and the Frozen Faceoff.
We were playing real well for the first period and up until my goal. We were really peppering them offensively, kind of had them on their heels, so we knew it was just a matter of time before we broke through.
And we had plenty of chances to get to go more, but I thought Hafner, that's a senior, was playing his heart out in his senior year for him and doing everything for his team to keep him in, because we had plenty of chances.
You know, we kind of really didn't know how to feel after that first period. We felt we played well, but we were down 1-0, you know. So the seniors and the leaders in the room were telling us, hey, you know, stay strong. We're going to get one. There's no way we're going to lose on a lucky goal for them like that.
2 goals for us by our freshmen. It was great to see.
We're a pretty tight-knit group, the freshmen are. There's a lot of us, so we get along well, and I hope we can. I really hope we can continue out and play the way that the senior class has led the team this year.
The number one strength of our team this year has been the depth of our offense, and I'm afraid to say if we're gonna continue to win, we got to continue to have our depth play out.
Still to come, the number 1 seed, North Dakota, aims to punch its ticket to Minneapolis. Standing in their way, Colorado College. Those highlights are next. Welcome back. It's become a tradition in Grand Forks as Colorado College makes its 3rd consecutive trip to North Dakota in the first round of the NCHC tournament. And the Tigers have pushed UND to the brink before on their home ice. Could they do so again with another Frozen Faceoff ticket left for grabs to head to Minneapolis? North Dakota looking to come out with a strong start against the 8th-seeded Colorado College Tigers. In the first, UND gets on the board on the power play. Tucker Poolman sliding one over to Luke Johnson for the one-timer, and a 1-0 Fighting Hawks advantage. Closing seconds of the period, Drake Kajula with some nifty footwork entering the zone, centering feed to Nick Schmaltz, who buries it, and it's 2-0 UND after the first. In the second, Colorado College getting themselves back in this one on the power play. Turnover in the UND zone comes to Tanner Oakey, who buries that one for a 2-1 CC deficit. But North Dakota would answer back less than a minute later, working on a power play of their own. Austin Pagansky from behind the net to Joel Janatuinen, and that makes it 3-1 UND. Heading into the third, that would be a very key goal to take away any momentum CC may have had in the third period. Wraparound down low, wraparound goal by Colton Sanderson makes it a 4-1 North Dakota advantage. They weren't done in the period. Back on a power play that was clicking all night. Feed comes to Hayden Shaw. He buries it for his first career goal as UND goes on to win in a rout 7-1 on Friday night. A power play that was potent for UND, going 4 for 6.
We were ready from the start. I thought we came out, played with pace, and played fast. And then I thought in the second period we kind of lackadaisical, and I thought we had poor puck management in the second. Kind of got away from us, and then we came out in the third and played the right way.
We've been looking for our power play to get going here, and I thought we had. We made the right steps tonight, and we got to keep it going. That's a huge thing in playoffs. We need those goals.
The challenge Saturday night would once again be, could UND get off to a quick start against Colorado College? It took 3 minutes and 55 seconds to get the answer. Keaton Thompson with the initial shot, followed up by Nick Schmaltz as he gets the goal to make it a 1-0 game. Less than a minute after that, UND back in the attacking zone, and Jacob Nihama, his helmet gets hung up on the net, doesn't stop Joel Janatuinen from putting it in the net. The goal stands, and it's a 2-0 UND lead. Later in the period, Brock Besser, look at this feed to Hayden Shaw, streaking in from his defensive spot, makes it a 3-0 North Dakota advantage. And then in the closing seconds of the opening period, Nick Schmaltz down low to Drake Pajula on the backside. That makes it 4-0 UND after the first period. In the second, North Dakota would add to its lead. Brett Gardner going to feed Austin Pagansky, who's charging to the net. Pagansky buries that one to make it 5-0 North Dakota. At the other end of the rink, Cam Johnson between the pipes for UND, red hot all night, making the save here on Timo Kivihalmi. He had 22 saves on the night as North Dakota goes on to win and get the sweep. 5-1 would be the final. They win the series 2-0 as they punch their second straight ticket to the Frozen Faceoff in Minneapolis.
I think getting that early lead in the first period was huge for us to kind of just roll through the game and roll 4 lines and not have to worry about cramming out the same line after line after line like that. So it was a great start, back-to-back nights. We had great starts, and hopefully we can continue that moving forward.
Something that we're really trying to focus on is only giving up 2 goals a game, and that's when it seems that we have the most success. So anytime you get an early start, it kind of sucks the life out of them, and you just build off that.
The field is set. Still to come, we'll preview the Frozen Faceoff in Minneapolis, but on the other side of this break, we chat with senior forward Austyn Young from Minnesota Duluth. It's a first this weekend for Minnesota Duluth as they make their inaugural trip to the Frozen Faceoff in Minneapolis. And that means for seniors like Austyn Young, this is their last chance to win a Frozen Faceoff championship. We take our opportunity right now to get to know Austyn a little bit better.
So Austyn, you're one of those players that has definitely paid his dues your first couple of years here at UMD. Ice time was a bit scarce for you, but then last year you kind of solidified your position with a full-time role on the ice. What were those first 2 years like for you, and how did you keep motivated during that time?
It's tough when you're in and out of the lineup. I think anyone who's been there can attest to that, and I think the biggest thing, you just got to stay positive. Just come to practice every day, work hard, and just stay motivated. I know it's tough. I found myself calling my dad a lot during those times and just ask him what he thinks I should do. And I think his biggest message is stay positive. And it's tough to want to come here every day and work hard. But that's the biggest thing to get out of that hole.
You were the first Bulldog veteran to set a career-high scoring record this season. Looks like you saved your best hockey for last. What is different for you this season?
I think just confidence. I came in, just thinking it's my last year. I got one last shot, so just coming in as confident as I possibly could. And I think I had a good start to the year, and I think that just kept building up like snowball effect. And like I said, I think just having confidence is the biggest thing for me this year.
So your dad, John Young, was a standout forward for Michigan Tech, and your older sister, Ashley, played hockey for Minnesota State Mankato. What kind of an influence was your dad on both your and your sister's hockey career so far?
He's been huge. Like I said, I mentioned him earlier, he's always been a guy to go to when things are tough, and it's always been a guy to look up to. I remember in high school we had games on Saturdays and Tuesdays, and during the week I would always come home from school and I'd have a note in my room just telling me what he wants me to do and kind of picking apart things that he wants me to do. So he's always been, you know, a leader for me and a guy that I can look up to.
Okay, and then what do you hope to accomplish during this last stretch of your final season here at UMD?
You know, I think it's pretty late in the season now, but I think just stay positive, be a good team guy, and I think show the younger guys just, you know, what it takes really down the stretch. You know, I think we need to have a good couple games here coming up this part in the season, and I think just, you know, being a leader and doing the little things right for the younger guys, just showing them what it really takes.
Austyn, can you tell us a little bit about this year's senior class? What comes to mind when you think about your 7 fellow seniors?
You know, there's a lot of leaders in the group. You know, we've played with a team that won a few guys off that team, and I think we picked up some traits from those guys, and it's a close-knit group.
With an automatic ticket to the NCAA tournament on the line, here is the field that is set for the NCHC Frozen Faceoff in Minneapolis. All of it taking place at Target Center. It's 4th-seeded Minnesota Duluth opening things up against number 1 North Dakota in the semifinals. Denver takes on St. Cloud State in the nightcap. The losers move to the 3rd-place game on Saturday, while the winners will square off Saturday evening for a right to have an automatic ticket to the NCAA tournament. We'll have a full recap of everything from the Frozen Faceoff coming up next week here on the show, including a full preview of those teams that qualify for the NCAA tournament. We hope you'll join us then. Enjoy the games, everyone, and thanks for watching NCHC Between the Boards.